There is no guarantee for success, but there are ways to get closer to it when you do the right things. Who you surround yourself with is just as important as what you do. Finding the right people, the right classes, the right activities, and taking the right tests are all decisions that shape your future. Find out more today on Destination University with Dr. Cynthia Colon. Dr. Colon and her guests will give you the tips you need, whether you're a student, parent, or educator. Now, here is your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon.
You're listening to Destination University, a podcast for college-bound teens and the parents, mentors, and educators who support them. If that is you, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon, TEDx speaker, college admission strategist, and author of the book, Be Committed, Get Admitted. Welcome to Destination University. We help high school families successfully navigate the college admission process by helping students create an action plan, become interesting applicants, and write compelling essays that increase acceptance letters. As a former admission officer at Vassar College and an elite private school counselor in Los Angeles, I have coached, mentored, guided, and worked directly with over 10,000 students. I know what it takes to get admitted to top 100 colleges. As my gift to you, I'm revealing the exact admission committee process we used at Vassar. It's all in my new guide, 4 questions admission officers ask when deciding who to admit or reject. You can get that at drcynthiacolon.com/admit. In the guide, I share the 4 questions I used in the 12 minutes I had to review an entire application. I give you the order I read the application, what I was looking for, what I highlighted and took note of. If you've ever wondered what admission officers are looking for and how decisions are made, well, today is your lucky day. Again, go to drcynthiacolon.com/admit. Okay, let's get to today's episode. Dina.
Hi.
We're talking about the gym essay today. Do you remember the gym essay?
I do. I want to see it again, but it's a good essay and it stands out because it's so hard to get a kid to write a good essay about working out. And I had a lot of them this past year, a lot of gym rats this past year, I will tell you. And none of them really could get it to be as good as this.
It's true. I mean, there's only so many, as we talk about in the first day of class, essay camp is like, there's only so many topics that a teenager, 17-year-old-ish, will, has to write about. They're all writing about the same topics pretty much.
Yeah.
But for a young man, and many, I think the ones that come to us, that find us, also typically, not always, happen to be athletes of some sort.
Yeah.
And maybe they went through the stage of learning how to, have nutrition and build muscle or, whatever, be a gym rat, as you say. So this one is coming out of the vault, you guys. It's been a hot minute since this kid's graduated. And in fact, we worked with his brother years later. So he might even be graduated from college by now. But it still stands the test of time. So we're going to walk you through. You may have heard me talk about or mention, I think, the term JIA. And JIA is our day 3. It is what we call our jump into action template. And I'll give you a little peek here if you're watching on YouTube. Jump into action is the first 2 days, the students draft, write their drafts, and they're kind of writing. And day 2, they always kind of leave going, I don't know if I'm getting anywhere. And truth be told, they're kind of spinning their wheels. They go from a Jackson Pollock day 1, kind of all over the place, to a little bit of a Picasso. Still doesn't make any sense. On day 2, that's how we, we tell them this is what you're doing. But on day 3, we finally give them a template. And they always say, why didn't you just give this to us in the beginning? Well, because you didn't have enough to write about yet, and you wouldn't know what to do with this template. So we give them this template, and I'm going to have Dina explain it here in a second. So there are 7 components, I think, to this template. So, all right. So Dina, just tell them what we're looking at here.
Okay, so So what we're looking at is just like in any story that you're telling, you need to have, there's an arc. So you start, it's where you start. The whole point of any essay or a movie, right? It's like where you start, what's your journey, and where you end up, and how the journey has changed you, right? That's sort of like, that's any story that students have read in their literature classes. That's what all the movies that they watched are. And the question is, how do you do that for your own essay writing? As we've said, most kids do not have the opportunity to storytell in high school. They're writing expository papers, and especially today, they read so little literature. It's all like nonfiction, and they're learning how to read scientific papers and stuff. And so they don't really know how to storytell. And so what this template does is it takes the story that you sort of like are trying to tell about. I want to know, it's like the spearfishing, that we've talked about in the past episodes, where, how do I tell the story of like what I got out of this experience, how it changed me and who I am today. Mm-hmm. So that this template breaks it down. You could see here, the student is a young man who is like writing about exercise and becoming better and stronger and more disciplined and all that stuff. And so the template, it gives you the uh-oh moment, which is like the moment that you're like, oh crap, excuse me, like what am I going to do with the situation? Here's my challenge. And then so you put people right into the story in the uh-oh moment, and then you give them the background, explain to them what the heck you're talking about. And then you want to show the reader that you're trying. It's an attempt and failure once or twice, before you realize how you're going to get this challenge overcome, which is the aha moment. And then you implement that aha moment. And then you talk about, like, you explain the success and resolution, and then how you have changed, which is any movie.
Yes, this totally any movie. I love this. And I think that the reason students love day 3 so much more than day 2, let's just say, even though they're getting words on paper, is that it helps them categorize or organize their thoughts. Yeah. And I'm thinking of so many others we could have shared with you today, but for some students, they literally will take this and look at what they've written from day 2 and color code their day 2 writing, and then copy and paste where it goes. So many times they have sort of all the content they need is there somewhere in what they've written so far. Or what we say is, okay, if you move the parts and the pieces where they go, you'll clearly see what you're still missing and what you need to now write today. Okay, so we move on. So, but this one was a really great example because of the way the student organized his thoughts before then putting into paper. Okay, so, all right, so this was day 3. All right, so we're going to jump in to day 4 draft. This is probably day 4 / day 5 drafts 4 and 5. So let me see if I want to show this or this. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and look, because we haven't showed them the total essay. So, all right, I'll read the first paragraph, and then I'll let you pick up on what we highlighted down here.
Okay.
In a second. Okay. So here's his final long version, and you can see my notes. I say, OMG, OMG, yes, yes, yes. It was only the 5th rep, and already the 45-pound bar collapsed onto my chest and pinned me to the bench. Luckily, the person next to me helped get the bar off me. Humiliated and defeated, I retreated over to the free weight area of the gym, which boasted a wall of mirrors. In my reflection, I saw a scared and weak sophomore. My arms were 2 long noodles that flailed out of my skinny back. Without a shirt, my spine and bones were clearly visible, and my chest was flat. My clothes rested on bones. I left the gym that day both frustrated and motivated. Oof, Lord. Okay, go. What do you, that's emotion right there.
Well, what I love about this essay, to your point, we work with a lot of boys who, the way boys express themselves is through activity. And we know that. We're going to make broad statements here, people. I'm not saying that all boys do this and no girls do, but at this age, boys tend to interact with themselves and each other in terms of their activities. And you see this kid showing his vulnerability here, where it's important to him to figure out how to become stronger. And it's probably because, as Cynthia said earlier, many of the boys that come to us, they're athletes, or they know athletes and they're trying to emulate athletes. And that's how they develop their motivations for like working hard. And I think that what I see in this kid in just the first paragraph, and I'm about to jump down to some highlights, but
Yeah.
I see that he is disappointed in himself, and he's wondering how he can get better at whatever it happens to be that he's doing. In this case, it's getting stronger. And so to a mom or dad who might look at this essay and say, why is my kid writing about lifting weights, being a gym rat? What he's writing about is evolving and wanting to be better and wanting to do more and wanting more out of his life. And what's that going to look like and what's it going to take? And I always love that you highlighted proud but unsatisfied, because to me, that's the thesis of this essay is proud but unsatisfied. And what that says to me, the reader, is that the student is not sitting on his laurels, right? So the student is, you can see that he wants to, he's a hard worker. He wants more and he wants to figure out how to get there. Proud but unsatisfied. A lot of kids be like, oh, I did this, I'm done. I'm proud, it's over. But he's like, what else is missing? What am I not doing? And I think that speaks to the character of the student, even though he's not talking about curing cancer.
Yeah. I'm looking at this other sentence I highlight. Every day I was applying my new knowledge to my work. On late nights, I found myself researching human anatomy and physiology to be strategic with my workouts in hopes of reaching muscle I don't even know that word. How do you say that word?
Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. So this sentence, again, in another episode, we talked about intellectual curiosity, right? And this student, again, good student, solid student, solid curriculum, was not, the valedictorian by any means, but this sentence alone allows the reader to know it has the smarts, he has the intellect, he has the curiosity, the intellectual curiosity. I don't care what your curiosity is in, whether it's gym, getting better, nutrition, Civil War, I don't care. I just want to know that you are intellectually curious. You agree?
Yep, absolutely. And I think that for a lot of young men, they don't understand that there is intellectual curiosity in this thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
They just think they want a six pack. And you sometimes have to make the boys. I actually worked with a kid this past year who had a very similar experience where he was like, he just kept saying, I got buff, I got bigger. And it's like, but it's not the buff part. It's how did you get there? And we talked about it, and he did all this stuff. He for the first time was interested in science. He had never cared about his biology classes. And all of a sudden he realized, oh, I'm really interested in how, this reacts with this, and how, what it is, like what muscle memory is and muscle confusion and what the difference is. And all of a sudden he's like, I think I want to do this for the rest. I mean, it opened up his life to like a career path that his mom thought was just wasting time at the gym. But it was intellectual curiosity.
I know you agree with me about the gaming and the video games too. Like we will say to students in essay camp class, like on day 1 and 2, like, don't go home and tell your parents that you're writing about the gym, or that you're writing about horchata or Taco Bell, which are topics that our kids worried about, because the parent doesn't understand. And most of you who are watching and listening are parents. So just know and understand that we help students make lemonade out of lemon. Like, we'll help them understand where and what part of what they love so much about video games or spearfishing or Kobe Bryant,
or working out at the gym. Why?
Or working out at the gym, like why that makes them curious, why that makes them special, and make sure that they write an essay that proves that. So, Dina, to bring it home, just read that last paragraph. I'm just like almost in tears just reading this.
I will. Okay. 1 year later, I saw my reflection once more. With veins protruding out of my arms in my tight Under Armour tank top, I saw a person staring back who had created something out of nothing. The gym provided a safe space for me to keep myself accountable every day, despite the challenges of the previous year. let's see, as much as I like to see the results of gaining muscle, being stronger, and gaining weight, I cared more about the energy that I had invested to get there. The work and the attitude I put into this space is what will sustain me for the rest of my life. The bar never judged me. The mirror never lied. This space was the only place I could be.
Oh, my Lord. So good. Ah, what do you think? Oh.
I love that this kid learned, he learned about, hard work, and he learned about accountability and creating something out of nothing. I mean, it's right there, right? And this idea of like, the bar doesn't judge me and the mirrors don't lie. I mean, I would have taken out that last sentence, but all kids like to have, I mean, I think that the mirrors don't lie and the bars doesn't judge me. It's sort of like, it helps him understand, like, if I want to achieve anything in life, I cannot have people judging me or blowing smoke in my face about how great I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's an important life lesson for a kid.
So good. I know. Oh my God. I just seeing, going through some of these, again, with you years, later, it just makes me so proud of these kiddos. And this kid, I do remember very clearly because his father works in education as well. So I stayed in touch with the dad. So I remember this kid went to UC San Diego, and was super proud of that. And anyway, just so good. So, all right, let me just do my little quick sign off and just, oh my gosh, so good. Oh, wow. I mean, 5 days in essay boot camp. Listen, this is where students learn who they are, that they do have a great story to tell. It doesn't matter the subject, but we get them to not write what is typically an English paper or a research paper. So that's really the truth that we're trying to convey here, in these episodes that I'm doing with Dina. So essay camp is now open. It's called College Essay Boot Camp. You can go to my website, drcynthiacolon.com. You can /essay camp, and that's where you can find all the details and scroll down to find the dates and where we'll be this summer. And you can sign up, or you can schedule a call to see which package is best for you. Okay, if this episode has in any way inspired you or helped you, please share this episode with 3 people in the next 30 minutes. All right, everyone. We'll be sure to see you same time, same place next week. Until then, wherever you are, may you have a happy and sunny day. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. So good. I love that one.
Thank you so much for listening this week to Destination University. Be sure to join Dr. Cynthia Colon again and get one step closer to your success.